to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast, where tonight's a special episode where we give away a little something during the episode, and tonight's going to be a Festool 125 ROS.
That sounds rough.
There's a lot of acronyms in there. It is. It's also pinned in our chat, so you can take a look at that. I can give you the link if you message me, but yeah, equivalent to like a $250, I believe, item. But it's Festool, and I'm Josh.
I am Tim from Gears and Fire. Hopefully later tonight, Nap may be joining us. We are crossing our fingers because this is a pretty cool night. It's not every day we get to give away that Festool green that everybody loves to drool over. I know I'm drooling.
Yeah. Well, we also have a little bit of an announcement. Not a total announcement right now, but we're going to do an extra giveaway this month. It's going to be, I believe, on the 30th of July. And we'll tell you why through the following episodes and all that. But a little extra to give back to the community because, that's what this podcast is made for, and we want to make sure we do almost to do that. So, be on the lookout. We're going to have another live episode giveaway on the 30th. Same time, same place. We hope to see you guys there. So, with that.
I am still rocking that DeWalt 6-inch. So, it's not the fanciest sander, but like before that, I was using, all I had was just a finish sander, the quarter paper sander. I did everything with that thing because that's all you had. That's what you can afford. You use what you got because I'm broke. So I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago when I was finishing up that table, I realized this table is massive and I need a much better sander than just a little finish sander. So I threw it. I think it was like $90 for that 6-inch DeWalt. I mean, it's a really good sander. I mean, is it like Festool or Mirka quality? No, but you know what? It's a lot better than a finished sander. And the table turned out great, right? So, I mean, the results speak for itself.
Oh, yeah. So I had the same sander, and it did me good. Like the problem I found out I had is I was using my sander incorrectly.
Incorrectly.
I was pressing down way too hard. And it was just one of those things I never really thought of. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It was just kind of a realization. But yeah, that's a good sander. I heard Bosch makes a really good sander. I have not experienced it, but I've heard people that have, and they love that brand too. The one we're giving away is pretty decent as well. Oh, I'm really quiet. Okay.
Well, hey,
no problem there. Tell me when I get too loud.
Because I can finally hear you now.
I'm sorry. I'm actually, if you guys don't know, I'm currently in New Mexico at Curlin Air Force Base, and I am taking a class here. I'll be here for 2 weeks. So this episode and the following episode is where you're going to hear me from. This is my wonderful hotel room.
I'm noticing a lack of hotel room art that's on the wall behind you. Because you go into any hotel.
Well, I'm staying at base. And I do have two pictures. One you cannot see, and the other one's over yonder. But there is nothing above the headboard. You know what? Honestly, I can't complain. I have everything I need. I don't have literally a kitchenette, but it's going to do fine for the 2 weeks I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I bought my VR headset.
And you need a restaurant. Oh, there you go. Oh, my God.
I got.
So now you can do virtual woodworking.
So, yeah, pretend that way.
I am waiting for that day that they actually come out with virtual reality CAD. When I can use SolidWorks and virtual reality, finally go about it Tony Stark style.
They might have an app for that.
I'm going to throw that idea out. I want that so bad.
They might not have the Tony Stark style, but they might have a virtual reality CAD, not to the SolidWorks level, but to a certain level. And I agree 100% because I hate using a mouse to like draw everything and whatnot. If I could just like do it with my hands and whatnot, and just kind of
Keith, it's
it
a whole new
snaps to where I
experience,
need
man. I'm
it.
just
Yeah,
telling
that'd be
you.
nice.
I mean, I've heard about it. So I think I read an article. So yeah. I heard it from a friend who.
But yeah. So I am doing. Oh, it's AJ. AJ, I have to message you, and if I don't message you tonight, can you message me so you remind me? So the 30th is going to be a special episode. I am trying to get all former hosts to join me on the 30th for that giveaway. So AJ, that's a kind of invitation live here on the podcast. So you have to join us the 30th. But yeah, going on, where the hell is Nap?
Keith, that's why I appreciate you.
That's the next question. Anyway. You've been messing around. But anyway, go back into to the sander game. Are you planning on to upgrade your sander anytime soon?
When it makes sense to. So like, I am not like I don't consider myself a diehard woodworker. Like, I don't do endless amounts of woodworking that would require a high-end sander. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, if I suddenly had the funds to get myself a Merc or a Festool, I would absolutely do that. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about that stuff. But like, because I'm spread so thin across a bunch of disciplines and things that I want to get into, I'm one of those guys where it doesn't really make sense for me to get like the super boss stuff. But I have to think about like, what's the tool that I could use the most right now? And if I were doing like fancy cutting boards like I was before, a drum sander would make the most sense. But I can tell you, using my orbital sander, trying to get that guy nice and flat and smooth, it would probably go a lot quicker if I had a decent Festool sander. It's absolutely murder, especially like end grain Paduke. I swear, it's absolutely like granite, but like in wood form. It's so strong and just resilient. Makes a good cutting board. I can't deny that.
Cutting boards are fun. I definitely want to explore that more in upcoming shop, projects and whatnot. So here's an interesting question, because my opinion on this has changed dramatically from the beginning of the podcast to now. What would be, if you were going to, say you had all the basic tools already and you get some extra cash and you're looking to upgrade something in your shop or a couple things, what would be your thought process? I mean, would it be a tool, dust collection? Would it be,
I would have to,
drum sander,
this is assuming I have the infrastructure to support it all, right? Because right now, if I had the money, I would throw insulation and electrical at the garage and move everything out there. But if you're just talking,
I'm talking more like, yeah.
So right now I have everything I need to do cutting, sanding, CNC work, stuff like that. I have, hammers and chisels if I want to do mortise and tenon. I have a decent plane. So like I have that side of it, but what I would like to do, and this is kind of odd, but like, I inherited a lathe, but I have no chuck. I have no cutting tools. So like if I were to invest something right now, it would be in like turning tools. Outside of that, it would be like if we're outside of woodworking, it would be probably a 3D printer. Like I would love to get myself a Bamboo X1 Carbon because of the projects that I want to do, and I do have access to SolidWorks. I can print whatever I need. I would benefit a lot from a 3D printer. I mean, if I had even more cheddar, I'd throw down for a laser, right? Because my buddy Josh and Nat both have been beating me over the head with a hammer, trying to convince me to get a laser first instead of a 3D printer.
Oh, you're going to get lasers. There's no doubt about it. It would just matter of how you're going to do it.
But on that point,
for
though, so for Maker Camp, for the Maker Swap, I'm actually planning on doing a really large but intricate clock. And it requires several, let's say, pieces and processes cut out of acrylic or polycarbonate, because I have a lot of that lying around. Now, the acrylic side of it, I would absolutely love a laser because I know cutting it on the CNC is going to kind of suck. But hey, use what you got to use. But if I had a laser, I could make that processor for what I need to do for those pieces go a lot quicker. I'm actually, depending on when you get back from New Mexico, I might be leaning on you for some cutouts because, like, I know there's going to be some things where it's just too detailed to do on the CNC. So I either have to get crafty or abandon the idea altogether, or leverage somebody like yourself with laser to cut out said pieces.
Yeah, just let me know, man. Get it done, knocked out for you. Oh, kind of side mission here, sidetrack.
Nice. I sent the mallets are on the way, folks.
I just want to say they're finally out on their way. Sorry it took so long. It just I tried to order boxes, specialized boxes for them 3 different times, and Amazon said no 3 different times. So yeah, with that, I just made my own boxes. So if you get a USPS box that looks like it's been modified, well, that's your mallet.
Yeah, I got. Ed received his cribbage board a couple of days ago. He said everything arrived in just fine order. So that was a pretty simple pack up and go. I just took an old box and wrapped it a couple times and folded it in, taped the hell out of it, slapped a label on it, and out it went. But I used ShipO thanks to your recommendation. That was amazing.
Oh, and that's another thing. We'll talk about ShipO real quick. I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but since the topic came up, always use insurance on ShipO. Even for the mallets, I put insurance on there, so if something happens, I can pay Stan, and Stan can generate a new one, and we can ship it to the person. It's just one of those things where I will put insurance on everything I send out from now on, because it's like say $200, right? It's like $2 extra. Can't really, that's an easy kill for.
Sure.
A project that's worth $200.
So, like, when you say put the insurance on, is that like when you claim how much the item is worth?
So when you go through ShipO, you go to a point where it tells you, dimensions and the weight and the addresses. And then on the menu onto the right, you have the different, pricing and different companies. There's a section on the top right where it says add insurance. Okay. And there's another blurb I can't remember.
I remember that's where you label like at work, so I had to do it on the slide, so I wasn't paying a ton of attention. Well.
Yeah, it's worth it, and I would do it. But kind of moving back into our previous conversation about the shop. So, you got a pretty good layout, and the changes that I've made in my mind, if I was to start over, if I had all the basic tools, I think I would concentrate more on dust collection and filtration. Because, the way mine is set up, it works, but it's not perfect. And it does bother me. And I will say, Matt from Wacky Woodworks, he has definitely helped me in that area. He's very knowledgeable. He has a series, him and Joey, on YouTube about the different stuff, and I'll be watching his page. We discussed it the last podcast, but he's very knowledgeable about it. So I think my next shop project, or where I'm going to invest whatever money I have, will be into modifying that to such a point where it's pretty much automatic. I turn on the tool, the dust collection starts, you know what I'm saying? And it just go down that road. Even my dust collection and how that's operating.
So you're saying when you turn on the saw, it automatically senses and everything's on. Okay.
Yeah, and that's easy. That's an easy switch as long as you get stuff off Amazon, and it's just a plug that once it's energizes that. You could even do, I believe, an Amazon plug. If you have that plugged in, it will say, "Hey, turn on this."
Now, would you install glass gates at the machine, or something like that too, or would you just kind of leave them all open and hope for the best?
I don't know. So to be fair, I don't have much that my dust collector collects. Right, my table saws are primary. The bandsaw, it could plug into there, but I typically don't. I should. I have something that disconnects because the way my shop is set up, the bandsaw is kind of in the right corner that would go across the door, the garage door. So, and then there's not much space for actually permit. So, I mean, I'm more worried about my table
There he
saw
is.
to get that dust collection in there. Yep, there he is.
Sneaking in the side door. You ain't getting away with shit, son.
But
Can't hear you, bud. Look.
he's figuring it out. But yeah, it's nice to get all the tools and everything, but your health is primary, right? So that's something that we tend to forget. And the more and more I get into the OSHA side and safety side of things, the more and more I realize that I wish I would have started with that first. Then the rest of the nicety tools come later.
Your dust collection up to the bandsaw.
Hey, there we go.
As I look at my bandsaw, like there's a pile of dust on the floor, right? I guess that doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about airborne stuff off the bandsaw. It's mostly just with the table saw and my sander currently.
Yeah, all my sanders are connected, or I have a connection to Festool dust extractor. So I have that. I'm not too worried about that. When I got to Illinois, I actually purchased 2 more. That way I had one connected directly to the CNC. I had one for my sander / my, not my bandsaw, but my drum sander. I can disconnect and use those. And then the additional one is for my miter saw. So I have dedicated systems because that's the whole point. When I got here, when I emptied my shop about when I left, there was piles of sawdust everywhere, fine dust on the walls, things you don't notice until you have to clean it up, right? So I wanted to change that and improve my dust collection when I got to Illinois, and it has improved. But well, yeah, that's the back of the CNC or something. Anyway, that's just kind of the motivation I have is, doing all the stuff I have been doing and learning more and more, and like how it can affect you. He's blushing. Look at that. I wonder if he can hear us.
Drunk, one of the two.
First of all, not drunk.
Maybe cold.
Second of all, if you only saw the way I had this shit set up right now,
janky as hell.
Not really. Shop's destroyed, as you can see. I'm also working on things I have to get done tonight.
So we're talking about dust collection and dust collection accessories.
Well, you can see the dust collection is great, but not great in here.
I see really some dust collected over there. Some dust collected over there.
I mean, there's dust collection. It's just it still gets destroyed in here. So
right.
But I'm working on trying to get these jobs done because they're both due by tomorrow. And yeah.
Glad you could join us, dude.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think I was going to join, but I was like, nah, fuck it. Or, excuse me, I'm live. Nah, I'll come on and join. Yeah, sorry, guys. I also don't have YouTube. I don't have 2 screens out here. I only got one, which is very cute. So,
tiny little guy.
That's all good, man. We can monitor the chat over here.
Okay.
So 2 questions for you. The progression in your sanders. Where did you start off? Where have you ended? And then if you could change up your shop, what would be something you invest in over something else? Like a tool,
let's see. So I started with, what did I start with? I started with a DeWalt 5-inch. I think most people start with that. Or, some kind of Harbor Freight version. And then I heard 6-inch discs was kind of cool. Matter of fact, the reason why I bought a 6-inch is when I first joined the podcast. I talked about your 6-inch sanders, and I felt kind of jealous and less of like a man for not having a 6-inch.
It's
sander.
That extra inch, man. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. Apparently,
it does. It goes the extra mile.
It does.
So I was like, okay, 100%. Cool. So I bought a rigid. I would like to call it the power sander because yes, it's powered, but the way you had to hold this thing, it took 2 hands. You had the handle, and then you had like the freaking oh crap handle, and you were going at it. And then after a while, I kind of got hooked on to Merca, which I've had pretty much since 2020, I want to say. So that's the progression of my Sanders. I haven't swapped my Merc out yet. I've had some thoughts, but then again, there's nothing really wrong with my current sander. It's just I might want to get like a sponge sander of some sorts. I know Surf Prep makes a good one, but I'm pretty sure Merca has an attachment like it. And I don't do a whole lot of contoured stuff, and even when I do, I just do it by hand because, unfortunately, I don't trust sanders when it comes to the finer details.
So do you just like take off the rigid bottom and put on the spongy part, or do you just stick on the rigid part?
So it'll be an actual. Attachment. Like it'll be a separate sander. I probably didn't hear everything you just said because hang on. Let me make sure my sound's turned up all the way. It is rather loud in here, considering I'm in the shop. But you're saying taking something about a rigid sander. What are you saying?
So like the normal sanders, they have like the rigid plate, and so I know some of them you can take off the rigid plate and then stick a spongy.
Oh yeah. No. It'll be a whole separate handheld deal. Okay. So they have like separate sanders for separate things. So in this case, I'd have to buy their actual like square sponge sander deal that hooks up to the vacuum that I have now. Yeah. I'm probably not going to right now, though. I don't really need to. The unfortunate fact is with funds haven't necessarily dried up here, but my jobs are paying for my last 2 upgrades, and I think I'm done. I am legit done upgrading because the income is not as much as it used to be. Where I could bite off a huge chunk and make it back real quick in San Antonio. It's not really the same here. So, but I mean, if I get a shadow box every couple weeks, I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? That's a good chunk of change. But as far as stuff I would want for the shop, is that what the second question was, Josh? Like what I'd want to change or what I would add differently?
Yeah, essentially, if you had funds to upgrade the shop in any which way, what would you concentrate on? Would it be a tool?
If I own this house, let's say I own this house and I was not moving ever, I'd probably have a no BS dust collection in here, like the 9s, like all hard pipe into the corners of the ceiling. I probably have the air filtration that mini splits to the outside, like. I'd have this place decked out to where, like, I still wear a mask for, like, aerosols, but I wouldn't have to wear a mask when doing really anything on any piece of machinery in here. Because that's where the majority of my dust comes from. It's not the drum sander. That's all caught by that dust collection. It's not the planer, all caught by the dust collection. It's all my table saw because I don't have the overhead hood. It's my planer or joiner. It's over there. It just kind of hits the floor. And then I got my biggest dust maker, which is my miter saw. I know I said I wanted to make a miter station, but in the theme of not upgrading with money I don't have right now, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold off on that.
So the planer and the joiner, it doesn't really create a lot of airborne dust, though, does it? It's mostly big chunky stuff.
Without a dust collector, it sure does.
Really? I guess, like I said, when I send stuff sailing through my, I just have like a little lunchbox planer. It's pretty chunky. It doesn't get like super dusty.
Well, I mean, you still got to think. Still, air particulates. I mean, you're throwing a bunch of chips and dust out of your planer at Mach Jesus, and
Mach Jesus.
That's
the episode, folks. That's the title.
And it will be airborne in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not as long. Okay, so I'll give you that. It won't be like super airborne forever, but. Sure. In a closed space, that thing is kicking out quite a bit of CFM out the back of that thing. If you don't have a good dust collection, most can't handle a planer. But then the drum sander, I will tell you that if I didn't have a dust collection, that right there, it'd be like freaking Desert Storm in here. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense because that makes like tiny little part of it.
But also, thank God that thing shut up. God. The cooler's going off and it just wouldn't shut up. If I surface my wasteboard, I thought you were
talking about the kids.
Well, them too. No, but if I surface my my wasteboard, it's MDF. If I don't got the DC on that, brother, I ain't coming in here for at least 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so
yeah, I guess I've never had dust collection. I mean, I have the shop that I suck the stuff out of the CNC, and then I take off the hose and I put it on my sander. But that's it for my dust collection. I guess I'm okay with putting a mask on for absolutely everything else. Like, you guys invest a ton of money into dust collection, whereas I would rather take that money and invest it in more capabilities first before the dust collection. That's, I don't know. Like, you guys also do a lot more fine woodworking than I do, so I guess it kind of makes sense, right?
yeah.
It's just when you start reading into basically what later effects that small particulates do, you start realizing that capability is great, but when you're hacking up a lawn later on,
don't breathe that
that's
stuff in.
you know, that's fair.
I'm still here. I'm just
that's just a thought, you know. Let's see. We'll start putting down some names here.
Yeah.
How many? Who's all here in the chat right now?
Dr. Matt Wackerly.
Oh, hey, there's Matt. Yeah, it's my. Sorry, Matt. My shop is an absolute train wreck, as you can see. This is what happens when you have a bunch of last minute jobs you got to do.
See, look at that. Keith, he's a cowboy. He looks at that dust and gives it the finger. To hell with you.
That's fine.
We got Keith.
Okay, we got Matt
we got
here.
Ben.
We have.
All right, I'm gonna take the headset off for a second.
Anita Wynn. We got.
If you're here, put here in the chat.
It says we have 12 watching. Let's see who's paying attention. If you are here, put here.
No, yeah, you can't. You have to put it in the chat. We're not gonna barely hear you. Just say I'm here.
I want to know who's going to Maker Camp and who's making what for the swap. Napa's threatening to go. What are you going to make for the swap?
We'll see if I'm going to Maker Camp, but I didn't even know there was a swap.
Oh yeah, you make something, you enter it in the swap, and then you walk away with something else.
Brother, I haven't even thought about that. I'm trying to get my life together and then go to this wedding in August and all these other things, which that's going to be...
You got 3 months.
That's going to be a hoot. Yes, I have 3 months. You're putting me on a clock that may not even exist right now.
Clock nonetheless.
Yeah.
I'm making a clock. It's 2 foot in diameter, and it's going to be complicated as hell, but that's okay. You guys remember the clock I made for the Maker logo swap with Mustache Matt?
Yep.
That, but like way bigger and way more complicated. Looks like we get another lottery entry from AJ. Make sure your laser keychains have the Maker Camp logo and nothing but. Actually, that's a good reminder. Guys, do your best for the Maker Swap. No Maker Camp logos. Check out Working Hands podcast for all the rules. Check them out on Instagram for all the rules on there too. It's gonna be a good time. I'm genuinely looking forward to year 2. So many people, unless it says Keith Drennan Maker Camp, make sure it's personalized to Keith. Oh, we lost Josh. Now, after the first year of the crazy downfall, a lot of folks are worried that like some first years aren't going to come back. Oh, hell no. That just reinforced my effort to come back. That was an amazing experience. Like, it was so much fun just slogging around in a swamp that was Maker Camp.
What the heck happened to Josh?
I don't know. He got sick of my voice, I guess.
Nah. No, what I'm getting tired of is we're losing this damn pencil.
You're supposed to have like 15 pencils at like 7 different stations around the shop at all times.
I do.
I have pencils. I have pencils everywhere, dude.
Yeah, and then I lose them still. I need to find it and get the stuff on there. Hang on.
I wear my Speaks Fluent movie quotes hoodie. I made a lot of friends. It was great.
This is an outrage!
time to clean the shop.
Aha! I thought you could hide your things forever. Little orange pencil.
What are you working on that's like due tomorrow?
I wish I could have set something like this up before.
Yeah, the only currency Keith recognizes is free hugs and awkward high fives. So
If you're watching the podcast and you want to win something, you better put here if you haven't said anything in a while, because the picker wheel is all done with the last few names. My internet's not that strong here, so
Yeah, where
I
are you at,
have.
Josh?
he's in New Mexico.
New Mexico?
He's in a hotel.
Ew.
He's on hotel Wi-Fi, which is sketchy AF and definitely not secure.
Well, mostly sketchy because of where he's at. Nothing that exciting to me. I'm not making anything that's that exciting, to be honest with you. It's a piece of wood that I'm putting a piece of plexiglass with standoffs on. Probably one of the easiest things I've made. It's just...
Hey, it's money in the bank. $20 is $20.
No, right now, so I've already sprayed it black. Now I just need to... Actually, I'm not going to tell you what wood I sprayed black. It honestly infuriates me because I'm not making it out of pine, I'll tell you that. It was not walnut, so there's that.
Cherry.
But what do you finish that with? Just a water-based poly?
No, I spray paint it.
Oh.
It hurts my soul to even say that out loud, but...
Wait, you're serious? Like you're going to spray paint over walnut? You're going to be that guy?
No, I spray painted cherry.
Oh, God.
Just as bad in my book, but
Yeah.
Tim, can you hear me?
El Terrible. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yes, I'm nodding. Everybody on the internet nod. You can hear Josh.
what?
Okay,
Yeah, nodding
who wants to win the Sander? This might be sketchy as hell, but we'll try
What do
it.
you mean by sketchy?
Well, I am sharing a streaming to YouTube on
Did you get
this Wi-Fi. So
Jeremy Cole?
What could happen?
no, I did not.
What else? What terrible things could happen? Probably not a whole lot. Maybe some. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm being a real Nick right now. Remember, I'm in the shop, so I'm throwing stuff all over the floor.
Oh, all right. You're making all the noise whenever possible.
I mean, I could just not. It's fine.
You could just like stop working for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not really an option right now, actually.
Is it because you procrastinated?
No, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna take this over here, so maybe I can make this bigger.
You don't need to make it bigger. You just need to let us know it's working.
It's working. It's good. I can see it now. Last call. Okay, tell me how many times you want this mixed up.
Oh, Stan already
Make it bigger.
read the future. He says 12.
Well, I'll give him 12.
Oh, Scott Robinson does not see himself in there.
No, I didn't see him in there because he never said anything.
He did say here up above.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? I already got 7 mix-ups there. You guys ready to spin? In 3, 2, 1.
Can I hit it and quit? Oh,
Platte Valley.
way to go, Grieg. Congrats, man.
Hey, don't pick on my spelling if it's wrong.
What are you talking about? Obviously, Grieg won.
I will find you. Look, I'm here only because of medicine. So,
congrats, Grieg. Enjoy that,
okay,
Sander.
so stop sharing. Oh shit! Okay, sorry, I swore. He already has the Sander, so he wants to spin again.
Oh, what a nice guy.
All right.
That's why I love this community.
I would say thank you to whoever wins. Yeah. So I'll mix it up. Was the next number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let that catch up.
So whoever wins,
I'll go in
give a
3,
shout out
2,
to Greg.
1.
That's pretty cool.
I could take it, Greg. I'll buy it from
The Sawdust Nation Market.
Spin again wins.
Oh.
Stan won.
Ah!
Well, it
Good
looks like
news,
you don't
Stan.
need to
You
buy
don't
it,
have to
Stan,
buy
because
it
it's going
from
directly
Greg.
to your house. But
That's awesome.
So,
Very cool.
Stan, we'll go ahead and get that shipped out to you tonight. I'm pretty sure I have your address. Congratulations, man. Now you have to do some woodworking.
He knows where you live. He's seen where you
So,
sleep.
There you go.
He
Exit
knows
out
if
of
you've been
here.
naughty or good.
So that was a giveaway for tonight.
Shots fired from Ben. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's just like his laser he's using right now.
So he has a laser he's not using, and I
Yeah.
am without a laser. Oh, that's rough.
That might
That's
be
rough.
the case.
Hey, man. Lasers unpack and set themselves up. Don't worry about it. All I have to do is leave a window open with a snack on top, and it'll be ready to go the next day.
Oh, man. I was so
Yeah,
these stands.
this part that I'm doing for the clock, it's like 18 inches in diameter, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to like get all these acrylic pieces together in like this perfectly concentric 18 inches.
Is it clear acrylic? What size?
Yeah, clear. I'm assuming like the 1/4 inch stuff, so it'll be like 0.225. I think is what it measures.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Like I said, we used to do all of our prototype boxes out of acrylic when I was at my former employer. So like me and 1/4 inch acrylic, we got some miles for sure, but that was also a really nice laser we had at work too. That was the Universal.
Yeah.
But alas, I don't have
access.
access.
If you need it, man, just send me the measurements and the SVG, and I'll get it knocked out and send it to you. It won't take long. You're looking for a 1/4 inch,
they're not
half
complicated
inch
parts, but yeah,
it
honestly,
doesn't matter
just
with the laser.
just 1/4 inch. Well, I guess it depends on the laser. Like I know some lasers have like a thickness limit, don't they? For what?
Yeah,
like how thick of a
kind
acrylic
of.
we can cut
You could do
without doing
you
17 passes.
Yeah,
See, like
I cut 1/8 and 1/4 pretty easy.
Well, actually, Matt, I was drawing that up today. I was trying to say, okay, so if I cut it into 5 pieces in arc, so like the diameter from the outside to the inside is 3/4 inch difference. So I was doing like 72 degrees, right? That's 306 degrees divided by 5. So if I cut that chunk, that is about a little over 10 inches wide and a little over 2 inches thick. If you were to make a rectangle around that arc, it'd be like 10 by 2. And like I have a lot of acrylic that has roughly that space left in it that I can like cut that out on the CNC. Would I go faster on the laser? Yeah, but I have to consider what my options are in my immediate disposal. So that's how I would take a stab at it first. But like because this ring needs to be a certain thickness too, like I mean at the thickest part is going to be like about 3/4 of an inch. So what I was going to do is actually just take ring segments, overlap them as I glue them up, so that way everything stays nice and rigid.
Yes, it's gonna be a cool project to see, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Yeah, me too. Because I mean, so far I've only been doing certain sections like in CAD just to see how much space this idea is going to take, how much space this idea is going to take. I'm looking up, timing belts in McMaster, because a motor's got to turn a thing and all that good stuff. So like considering a lot of options, going down a lot of how to engineer 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound box type of design work. It's been a lot of fun as I'm doing this at work, I should be doing regular work.
Call it your smoke breaks.
5 pieces at 72 degrees. That's what it came out to. I think that's, judging by the amount of acrylic scrap that I had laying around. Again, like I saved so much material from my previous employer over the years that I have a lot of material left over that I can cut these chunks out of. It's just a matter of getting it all nested together so I don't waste, or so I waste as little material as possible. I don't know how often you have to do that stuff on your laser, like if you're doing like little pieces here and there. I'm assuming you save a lot of your scrap too, huh?
I try to. There's a lot of different things I use my scrap for. I'll be doing a project and be like, oh, I want to do with this. And thankfully, I'll have some cherry or something to help out. And the laser comes in clutch with stuff like that because I can go ahead and you don't need a very big piece to, to throw in the laser and get something out of it. So,
right. Yeah, because I mean, I've cut an acrylic out on the CNC before. It's just not as fun. It's messy, and even with the dust collection,
it takes forever.
Yeah, I can't go too deep, and I got to use an O flute. And I don't know. It's just not a fun thing to do on CNC. Can it be done? Yes. Could it be done better on a laser? Absolutely. But actually, that reminds me. It's like I need to get that acrylic glue. I can't remember what it's actually called, but
I'll send it to you. I have a link on Amazon.
Okay. But yeah, and like over this past weekend, like I've been going through all of the leftover electronics and hardware that I've collected when I was at my previous employer, and I finally started organizing it all because that entire room that it's all in, I need to completely clean it out, finish mortaring the walls, paint it, and all that stuff. So that was actually very good. I mean, I filled up 5 trash bags so far, just getting rid of stuff. But I'm also finally putting eyes on all the stuff that I saved over the years. Like I have a ton of power supplies, fans, electrical components. Like I'm talking like resistors, transistors, all that stuff. Like so much electrical stuff and electronic stuff, like breakout boards, Arduinos, sensors, like all the stuff that I can make really cool projects out of. But it doesn't do me any good when it's sitting in a box collecting dust. So now that I'm pulling all that out, I can add that to my apothecary of leftover hardware and stuff. So once I finally build that, nothing's going to get forgotten about. I'll have access to all of it whenever I need it. That's especially
smart.
helpful, like when I'm doing like projects like this. I don't know what kind of hardware you hang on to, but like, how do you organize it all?
I really don't. I mean, I have like 2 little Harbor Freight
Napa's calling
sorters.
No, I'm not calling BS. I just laughed because I was like, that's very much a Pollock thing to do. Because I'm going to tell you what, I literally throw everything that I don't use. If it doesn't have like a actual size screw, it goes in a bin. And then when I need it, I take it, I pour it out, I look for it, and then put everything back in that same bin again.
Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It is what it is. Like I was like, you know what? This is the life I live. This is the life I chose. Some people, they were born to be, organized. Some people, they weren't. I am not one of those people. In certain instances, I should say.
So yeah, I kind of do that. I have 2 Harbor Freight organizers. I kind of throw all that hardware and stuff in. I do the same. I mean, it's as organized as it's going to get. I have a theory that eventually I'll organize it better, but it's all about that room and what you want to dedicate time to. So
some people were born to be organized.
And what that room is going to be is sewing, electronics, glassworking, stuff like that. And just general crafting, because like right now, I mean, a lot of our crafting stuff is just invading all the nooks and crannies upstairs, right? I want to get all that crap from upstairs and put it in like one collective spot. So, but before I do that, I got to make sure the space is all safe too. Now it's a basement, so I got to get the dehumidifier running nonstop, so no mold issues, nothing like that. But like I said, I just want to keep it clean. I want to keep it safe for when the kids are down there too using that stuff.
Makes sense, man. Here, I sent you the link in our chat so you have it.
Sweet.
So that's
Thank you.
Welcome. But yeah, kids are too excited watching this. Oh, I'm glad they're watching this episode. Anywho, I have about 5 projects to get completed when I get back. And then my list will be free and I'll start making stuff in shop. To sell, I got 3 plaques going to Jersey, and then I had the clock project, which I have all the stuff for and started. I did some sandblasting based on Matt's recommendation. And that was interesting. It took seconds to get rid of the stuff. It was taking me hours to. So I have to build a box
so it
of some
worked
sort.
as intended.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy some acrylic, some cheap acrylic, and make a box out of it so that I have a place where I could put the pieces in and go ahead and sandblast and collect the material. And I'll go ahead and so I could reuse it. But yeah, it legitimately, I just tested a few seconds and it was working great. So I can't wait to get back to get that knocked out. It's been a long time coming. It's been taking time, and I had to try different stuff. It took one person's idea to get me further. I will say, I wish I had that when I did a bench restore for a neighbor, my neighbor's mother. I had to get in there and sand and like Dremel like every little piece on the runs, and it was a nightmare. Like I absolutely spent hours on sanding that, getting that back to its original, finish, and it was crazy. So sandblasting, way to go.
I've done using our like little sandblaster in my previous employer. That I agree 100%. Like it's almost like cheat mode, right?
I wish I would have known about this, and I got it from Harbor Freight. So went there and yeah, so I got everything I needed. Runs off my compressor. Have no issues with it so far, which I did a test, so I don't. Once I do the whole thing, I can tell you more. But it was great. Like I can't tell you how excited I am to get this knocked out because it's gonna be a lot quicker, and it breaks it right down to the wood.
To see it.
All the finish comes off. Like the detail stays. It's just, yeah, it was worthwhile. So
that's really cool, man. Like I said, I hope to see some more posts like as you go. Like, are you gonna post any like in progress stuff? Or are you just gonna
I probably will. I'll probably be posting a little bit more once I get back, but
okay.
We'll see. I still have to think of when we're bringing the maker camp. Don't know. I have some ideas though.
I'm excited to hear those ideas, man. Like I've seen some really cool stuff roll through that. Some guy made like this really cool like printed and finished version of like a little Bridgeport. It was only like about that by that, and it was like super detailed. Like I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I've seen some of the projects, and I don't know how it's going to line up, but I have some ideas of things I'm going to do, and a hint at that. Some of it's going to be flat packed stuff. I might actually do one of those projects and bring with me. So that way, if people fly in or whatever, they can, fly with it out.
I'm just gonna say you're driving there, so like whatever you win, you can drive it back. But somebody flying out is gonna have to make arrangements.
Yeah. So that's the whole point of up and coming stuff is being able to ship it with ease versus expensive shipping. So
Victor's asking, and I think he's leading to the sandblaster. Do you think it would work on cleaning up live edge slabs?
It might with enough pressure.
Like just get that cambium layer, I think it's called, right? I don't know, like just like basically like the sludge on the outside after you get the bark off.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're looking to remove the bark, the most powerful one might. I don't know. But if you're looking to clean it up after you remove the bark, yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like after you use like a draw plane to get the bark off, just like cleaning up the face of it, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be experimenting a little bit more with it just because now I have one. I'm going to see how I can use it in the shop. So, the peeling. After
it all depends on the bark, because I've had two of the slabs that I was using to make the table where like I had to earn every inch of the way, whereas like the other side that just half of it popped off in like one chunk. I don't know how often you've ever had to work with a live edge, Josh, but it's interesting.
Quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I've done quite a few projects with it, but it is one of those things that I did a live edge coffee table a little while back. It was a cookie that I brought from Jersey that was bought from a friend of mine like 3 years ago, and like I had 4 or 5 of them, and I sold them or I did other things with them, and I left one intact because the characteristics of it was just beautiful, and ended up turning that into a coffee table with a little bit of moss and some rocks my kids found, and now it sits in my living room next to my chair. So
nice.
You used a lot of epoxy in that. I'm gonna tell you, that thing was dry. So like I went and I sealed it, thinking like, hey, I'm gonna use this epoxy to seal it, and then I go back when I do my flood pour, should be fairly less bubbles. Oy. I could not imagine if I did not seal it how it would have looked. Because I still got bubbles, and it took, I don't know, 2 or 3 flood pours in order to get it perfect, but we got it there eventually.
Poor Nap. The struggle is real.
Yeah, he's working hard. Oh, we got a backside of Nap. Sawdust Nation After Dark. Yeah. Can we get a squat so we can see the muscles in action? Just want to say. No.
No. That's only on the OnlyFans. That is only on the OnlyFans.
Look, I think he's flexing on purpose. Look at this. Oh, look, I got the mic. Oh,
yeah, you're muted, buddy. You're muted.
You're unmuted now.
There you go.
That was weird. It was a little delay in the action. No, so I gotta say, a lot of my energy's been in here, but at work, a lot of energy.
Keeping up with those young bucks.
Trying to. Young kids are, believe it or not, like I thought I was young. Still, that's not the case.
You're supposed to be wise. You're supposed to use half the muscles and get twice as much done.
Nope, I'm dumb Pollock. I use brute force for everything. No, I'm learning.
Yeah, that checks.
I'm learning to, be smarter about certain things. Like when I actually do get hurt these days, I get better. I don't try to push through it anymore. Which I pat myself on the back there because I used to not do that. That's why I'm jacked up as much as I am now. So I'm gonna go spray this real quick because it's on its final coat. Because actually, now that we're here and I'm finally to a point where I can explain what the hell I'm doing out here. So this obviously is the cherry. I know it's a sad sight. I really tried to convince them otherwise, but I don't have pine. And pine, I hate to say this, is just too soft for a project that you're trying to give someone for a retirement. Cherries, and cherry's a little cheaper. I was about the same price as oak here, actually. Thereabouts. It's like maybe $1 off. And I hate trying to spray paint oak. It looks like straight trash when it's not matched with the proper project. Josh has almost been turned by me a couple times for shadow boxes made out of oak, just because you can make oak look good. But this is the only canvas that I can get a smooth black surface without anything crazy, weird grain markings. And then I'm going to put the standoffs on the corners. I actually ordered 3 types of standoffs. So I've ordered these in the past, but I ordered just silver normally. I got silver, black, and brass. They asked me to make it similar to one that they showed me, but without a frame, and that had brass standoffs. So that's why I'm using brass. But anyway, so that's what this is. This is just the backer for that. I'll put the standoffs on here, and then a piece of clear acrylic with an engraving, obviously reversed, so the engraving's on the other side, and it's smooth on the face, and then just attach it. And the other 2 things is 2 of the same thing. It's they're coin racks that I'm going to put 2 quick like little mounting posts for these 3D printed. I didn't do this. It's like a 3D printed version model. It looks like some clay as well of a munition. They actually did a pretty good job. But I'm going to take this. It's going to mount. It's just going to sit on the stand, and then they're going to have 3 coin slots. So that's easy. Okay. This is the most time-consuming one because of the dry times and stuff, and it's already 9 o'clock. So I'm trying to get it towards dry enough for me to work with it, and then put the stuff on. Honestly, at this point in time, though, I legitimately could put my logo on the back of this, finish spraying it. I could let it sit overnight, as long as I like the way it looks before I go to bed, and then I could put the posts and stuff on tomorrow morning before I go into work. So that's not a problem. I just want to get the bulk of the time-consuming, needs curing, some kind of dry time before midnight, so that way I can let it dry overnight. So, but
fair enough.
But, yeah.
Well, looks like you're off to a great start, man.
Well, yeah. So I actually glued this board up this morning when I woke up. I was like, I probably should glue this up. So I glued it this morning. Came home. Put
I feel like you need to add an upcharge to the cost of the project because you're spray painted cherry. Like, if you're gonna make me spray paint cherry, I'm gonna charge you more.
They paid for it. They paid for it. Like, okay, I'll be transparent. They paid $175 for a 15 by 15 plaque.
Holy cow, dude! Nice work.
So, I mean, but to be fair, custom work still.
Yeah.
I'm using 3 different elements. Okay, wood, the standoffs, and the acrylic. I had to get the design made for me because I didn't have time to trace it the way I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff costs money. And then, of course, a little added extra for the cherry I spray painted.
Gotta pay off that ATC.
I'm gonna. Well, yeah, no shit. Let me go commit a sin real quick, and then I'll come jump back over here.
Fair enough.
Okay. As you're doing that, want to hit home, we are having another giveaway the 30th of July. The episode, we're gonna try to have all former hosts and current hosts together. It will hopefully be a pretty long episode, and we'll be announcing something huge for the podcast on that day. So please join us. I'll be doing the work to reflect it in our stuff. So it'll be open to the public for that giveaway. And we have not chose what we're going to give away. That's actually going to be a discussion we're going to have here and get that knocked out. So as he's getting high spray painting.
We're going to give away Victor's spruce. Anyway, you were saying, while he's getting high spray painting.
Anyway, you got any final words there, Tim? We can start wrapping this one up.
If you collect it, make sure you know what you got, because it's not going to do you any good if it's sitting in a dark box and forgotten about. That is a lesson that I have been learning the past week or so as I'm like going through all this stuff and saying, wow, I could have really used this back when I was working on this. Or wow, this is really useful. I can't wait to use it on my next project. So make sure you know what's actually in your shop, not just, hey, I think I collected one of those back a long time ago. So like I said, make use of the materials you got. Waste not, wants not.
Nap, got any final words?
Well, I haven't spoke very much during this episode. I'm sorry. But my final words, don't be afraid to work in a hot garage. It's hot in here. But in all seriousness, talking about right in the beginning about upgrades and like things to do in the shop and whatnot, how like money's dried up and those things. Learning lessons is a good thing. I would say the biggest lesson I've learned, I think, in the past couple of years being here is things are not always going to be the same in the different places you go, whether they need the service that you provide or not. You're not necessarily always going to make the same. Things are not going to be the same. You'll have different barriers, different clientele, all these different things. But don't let that dissuade you from doing the thing, okay? Whether it's making or just doing things for fun in your garage. But other than that, just keep learning, keep helping the community as much as you can. And that's about all I got. Josh?
Keep on keeping on. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this live giveaway episode. I believe it's 211. We have a couple episodes coming up that should be pretty good. The 30th being the big one. So with that, go make some sawdust, and Sawdust Nation podcast out.